Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to this live on Facebook about how Constellation can unblock fertility. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, Orianne. Nice to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah.
So I'm talking from Portugal, and you?
I'm talking from Wales in the UK, and this is the first time, it's the second time actually, that I've done Facebook Live. And actually, Orianne's in control of it, so it feels a little bit surreal, I have to say. So, yes, forgive me if I'm a little bit baffled by the whole thing. But, we just really, we've been talking a lot recently, Orianne and I, about how we can reconnect with our fertility, with our wombs, with our womanliness, when we can't actually get together in sacred circle. And so we thought, oh, why don't we try something a little bit different? So that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, and I just want to say that we led circles in UK, in London and in Wales for several years.
Yeah.
We get together doing archetypal constellations and shamanic journey and ecstatic movement, and it was really, really successful, and we had a beautiful circle for all these years in London. So I was so sad to stop to do that, and with this COVID thing, I was thinking, oh, why we don't do it online, Womb Wisdom Keeper Circle, and I call you, and you told me, oh yeah, I was just thinking about that, isn't it?
So here we are.
Yeah.
Just introduce you to Orianne for those who don't know her. Orianne is the founder of the Academy of Systemic and Relationship Coaching, and this academy is online and trains future constellation practitioners. And you're doing it. I'm kind of helping out with the English part, but you've been running that for quite a while in France, in French, the French language, successfully.
Yeah.
And we are expanding more into the English language, which is why that I'm involved in this call, because I actually can't speak French. So, and we've worked together, I think, like Orianne said, for like 9 years. So it's really nice to be able to come together in this space again.
It is a very nice team we are, and I'm really happy to introduce you to Rebecca Hanscombe, and she's the director of the Ecstatic School of Movement, or sorry,
Ecstatic Movement.
And she's also a shaman, and she does so many great and beautiful and powerful things, practice all time, discovering new ways to empower the feminine and express the creativity. So I'm really happy to work with you, and that's it.
Fabulous.
Very short, because it's too big, all the things you can do, and you are so gorgeous. Sending flowers.
Fantastic. So why we wanted to speak about fertility today, I mean, reconnecting with our fertility is such a big deal. I think more and more I'm speaking to women and men, obviously, couples that are not able to conceive a child when they want to, and this seems to be getting more and more pronounced as the years go by. And I think there are many reasons for this. One of the things is that that maybe women are leaving it a little bit later. They have their careers and then they suddenly think, oh gosh, I really want to have a child, and I'm with this amazing guy and like everything's working really well, and then they decide that right, this is it, and they come off the pill quite often, and then they start trying to have a baby, and it can take longer than you think. It's often with all these different things, and then stress has got a massive part to play in it. Diet's got a massive part to play in it, exercise, just being in a state of relaxation. But also there's a very interesting link to fertility and our genes and our history going back often down the female family line, which we've discovered, well, we've not discovered it, but through constellations, you can really have a look at that. And it's amazing some of the reasons why we can't get pregnant. And so I'm going to, here you go, Orianne,
Yeah. Well, you are talking about different, very, very important things. So the idea of being relaxed, it's really, really important. Why I'm saying that? Because if we are completely tense, how this egg can settle in your womb? You need to have a very relaxed womb. So it's connected with your brain. If your brain is completely tense with a high expectation, it's impossible for your body to relax completely and to be very soft to welcome this beautiful egg.
Open like a flower.
Yeah. This is one thing. And yeah, you are talking about ancestors and the genealogy. It's another very important thing. But sometimes it comes only from our lives. Sometimes we were pregnant maybe earlier in our lives, and we were not ready. So this is one of the main things I observed with my practice, because I practice for more than 20 years now. And I had many successes with the constellation practice and helped several, I can say more than 20 to 50 couples to have a baby. So I'm kind of a godmother for all these beautiful babies. They are like with 10 years or a little bit more. But what I noticed, most of them, it was related with some abortion or miscarriages. And it wasn't integrated. It wasn't accepted. It was like they were carrying guilt about that. So they didn't let go completely at 100% the first pregnancy. And it wasn't about the pregnancy, it was about the dream of this beautiful relationship they are missing. And they are still stuck with how it could be so great and so beautiful, but I wasn't ready. And now I'm kind of punishing myself without being pregnant, not allowing myself to be pregnant, because we need to close unfinished businesses. And sometimes a miscarriage. So when I talk about miscarriage, a natural abortion. And when I talk about abortion, it's something decided by the mom and maybe the couple. Sometimes it happens. So this is one of very important reasons, not the only one, because sometimes we can have connection with ancestors that they had some trauma related with having babies. It could be like rape and having babies following a rape, or losing babies for different reasons, sometimes just disease. And so to protect ourselves, we prefer not to have babies, but we don't know that. It's really unconscious. And we are repeating some patterns from our ancestor and reproducing and reproducing. But maybe before giving you an example with my little Playmobils, I would like to tell you a little bit about constellation. What is that constellation? Because sometimes I have people, they ask me if it's about astrology, and it's absolutely not about astrology. It's a process created by Bert Hellinger, a German ex-priest who lived a part of his life with the Zulu. He was a school director, and he had in South of Africa, he had the opportunity to be in touch and very, very well included in the Zulu community, and he learned so much from them about the order in a system and the importance of the ancestors and the ancient people in the tribe and the wisdom and this kind of thing. So after I think 10 or 15 years being a priest and a school director, he decided to close this part of his life. He came back to Europe and started to learn about psychoanalysis and many different methods. And he met Eric Berne, and he worked about Gestalt and all this kind of thing. And progressively, he created this kind of psychodrama. So we can say it's a sacred theater where we can express our system, our family system, or anyone, any system. Could be it could be your job, it could be the society, it could be archetypal, and it's what we used to do with our circles. During the circle, we use the archetypal constellation, and it's really powerful. So we can create a 3D picture with representative, and most of the time we do it in a room with a circle of participants, and we work together like a teamwork, and we represent the members of the family, and we do all the process like that. But now, and for me, it has been several years before the COVID situation, because I am from Belgium and I used to live for 7 years in UK, and I had my clients from Belgium and they wanted to continue the work with me. So I decided at this time to do by Skype, and after I learned to do with Zoom, and I explored so many ways to do constellation, online constellation. So I hope it's a little bit more clear for you. And don't hesitate to ask your question beneath this video, and I will answer you by messenger if it's okay for you. So I think we are ready to move to an example. What do you think?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So I move my camera, and you can see this A3 sheet of paper, well, consistent one. and it's called the knowing field. So this is a safe space, space we use to manifest the constellation. And we have, yeah, we can use Playmobils. So I would like to introduce you to Isabel. Isabel, she was one of my clients, and she was from Belgium, and she came because she had a big problem with fertility. She wanted to have a baby and she tried everything, and after she started to do IVF, and it wasn't working properly. So I invited her to place herself in this field, kind of quantum field called the knowing field, and asked her how she was feeling when she was standing in this field. And I asked her to place her fingers on the head of the Playmobil. And she told me that she felt oppressed, constricted. And after I asked her to place a representative for the fertility. And she decided to choose another representative, but a human representative. She could use other type of representative. She could use a table or this kind of thing, but she decided to represent this one, the fertility. And they were more or less facing each other. So when I say more or less, because you can maybe notice that the fertility is not looking at her, but she's looking in this direction, not really to my client, Isabel. Okay, so I asked her, so what do you feel? And you can see the fertility, it's not very stable and bowing to something. Oh, okay. So she placed her finger on the head, and she said that it wasn't very comfortable, and she wanted to go back a little bit and have more distance, more space between her and this fertility. And it was very interesting because when she came with a very strong desire to be fertile and to have a child. And when we were expressing the system, the relationship with the fertility, she discovered that she was a kind of afraid of this fertility. It was too strong, too big for her. And yes, she needed more space. And I asked her, so what's happening with you? Well, I don't know if I'm so willing to be pregnant. Wow, it was very, very interesting because she came with a strong desire, and this is the strong thing with Constellation. We unveil the subconscious and we discover the other side of our reality, and sometimes almost the opposite. So it's, wow. So just by staying there and looking at that and welcoming this feeling that she was scared about this fertility, she was scared. I asked her after a few minutes if something happens in her life about being pregnant. And she told me that when she was 18, she had an abortion. Oh. So I asked her if it was okay to represent the spirit, we can say, the spirit of this baby, well, not really a baby, but this embryo, we can, it's more appropriate, this embryo. And yes, she said yes, and I asked her to place this representative for this first embryo. And she placed not near her, but not beside her, but a little bit far too, but not so distant. If you look at fertility, fertility is really distant. And I asked her to place her fingers on the head of the lost embryo, the aborted embryo. And after like 1 minute, she was really surprised because she felt love. She told me that it was full of love, but sadness too. It was a mix of love and sadness. Okay, so I asked her, so what are you learning from this? And she told me that she was really surprised to discover that this embryo was well connected with love. And I asked her, so why are you surprised? Because I still feel, she told me that she was still feeling guilt about this, but she knew that it was the best decision she had at this time, because she wasn't ready to have a baby and it was the right time, but still carrying a kind of guilt. And I asked her to look at this embryo, the lost baby. And first it was difficult. She didn't like to look at this lost embryo. And after, she started to breathe. And breathing and breathing, and she wanted to go a little bit closer. So I hope you see, yeah. And I asked her to try a sentence. So she said, well, she wanted to say, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready. Okay. And after I asked her to place the finger on this little one. And she didn't feel anymore the sadness. Only love to her mom. And she wanted to say, I miss you, Mom. Okay, so after I asked her to place the fingers on herself, I try to give you a nice view. And she wanted to say, I miss you too. And she felt much more relaxed. And I asked her if it was okay for her to move and to find a new place. And she asked to place herself like that with the little one. And that's it. And it was interesting because after I asked her to place her finger on the representative of the fertility. And what happened? Fertility wanted to look at her. And fertility was standing proudly in front of Isabel. And after I asked her to feel what was happening for her, and she told me that she wanted to go next to the fertility. And I suggested a sentence: I'm ready. And she repeated, I'm ready. And something, it was really, really, really powerful, because the energy, and you can feel, I'm sure you are feeling, Rebecca, do you feel anything now?
Yeah.
About the energy of this constellation? Something is happening. It's not completely done, but it's moving. So this is the constellation. Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and well, it's not, I think it was 1 year and a half, I received an announcement that they had a baby, a little girl.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it
That happened so many times, hasn't it? In all the, we've done loads of constellations together around this particular issue, fertility and abortions and miscarriage, because it's something that women just hold a lot of guilt around, and it's so beautiful to actually connect with that embryo, with that fetus, to be able to see that they don't hold any grudge towards you.
Oh, yeah, and
it's pure love that happens. And one of the things that I always find so powerful in these constellations is that we often use the sentence, "It's my fate," and this is just a real beautiful way of just thinking, yeah, it's all right. Do you know what I mean? It's actually all right. Because we do these things for the right reasons for us at the time. And I think there's a massive kind of stigma that can happen. But one of the reasons that we find ourselves in this situation quite often is because we've lost the power to use herbs and to use that plant medicine in a sacred way for these women's choices. In the past, we would have known exactly what to use, and somehow a lot of that information has been lost. So I know that there are some people working with that plant energy now, but it's a bit of a taboo subject, really, as everything rages around that.
And I think rituals, they are very, very important. And with Constellation, we reconnect with the rituals. It's a kind of ritual. So we can close issues and relationships and unfinished businesses, and make peace with that. So we are ready for something new, a new energy, a new opportunity. And guilt doesn't exist in this world. It's about love.
Yes.
And responsibility. Yes, this is something very important. Take the responsibility of what we did, what we are doing, and there is no guilt. Responsibility, it's nothing like guilt. It's just being able to give a response, an answer, but I like the word response in English too, because it exists in English, to give, to stand with what we did, with what we felt, and with what is the fate. As you said, fate is really important. And when we acknowledge that, it's relaxation, because it's what happened during this constellation with Isabel. She progressively during the session recover the relaxation in her body. So everything was possible because she had with the normal way the baby. But I have other example when the constellation helped the IVF,
yeah,
and reduce the repetition of all the process, because sometimes I know women, they do 4 or 5 times the whole hormonal process.
yeah.
So it impact the health too.
Well, it can make you crazy sticking that many.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're not actually getting pregnant. Like,
Wow.
so yeah.
So
I think it's like it's with anything. When you've got some sort of problem going on, you just think that you're the only one, and you feel, especially with women, we feel so ashamed, and we feel so guilty, and we feel like a failure for just because we have so many pressures on us to be and be able to do all those things that women are supposed to do, including having children.
yeah, definitely. And perfectionism, it's also a blockage. Sometimes I had several cases with women, they came and they were not able to be pregnant because they were with a higher expectation about themselves. It wasn't about the baby, but they wanted to have the perfect pregnancy. So they were doing so many things, the pregnancy yoga, the this, that, and the food, and it was a nightmare at the end to be pregnant. And sometimes it's it's not funny, but it's interesting to notice that some women, they don't do anything when they are pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Just much more relaxed. Yeah. And the other thing that the other thing that we offer, the Ecstatic Awakening Dance, that it's just the best thing when you're pregnant, when you actually are pregnant, or if you're trying to get pregnant, because it does put you in that state of relaxation and letting go of the stress and tension and everything else. So it can really help with the body to relax.
It's very powerful. And so I would like, because it's time to close this live, we have 2 invitations for you. The first one, it's a Womb Wisdom Keeper Circle.
Yes, shall I say about that? So we're starting the Womb Wisdom Keeper Circle online again. Woohoo! And the first one will be free, and it will be next Friday, 31st of July at 7 o'clock till 9 p.m. So you can just come along and join in. You don't need to, have any experience or anything like that, and we'll just help you relax. It'd be great if you've got somewhere nice that you can just stay for a couple of hours without any distractions, but that's really all you need to bring, just yourself.
Yeah.
So please send us well,
I will give the details beneath the video.
Okay, great.
And that's
And the other thing I wanted to say, but I'm going to say it after you've said about the other thing.
Well, the other thing I know, you can tell.
Well, what I thought was, because we're going to be doing this each week, that
Each month.
This not the womb
Yes, the live,
live.
Yeah.
We thought it would be amazing if you have any questions or queries or things that you would like to discuss, and we can do like a little example constellation of how that might be. That would be really nice to hear from you, what you would like to discover through the family constellation.
Yeah. If you want to be part of this interview, just send me an email, and you will find my email beneath the video. And I will not do a full constellation, but we will do a mapping. So it will give you some insights about your situation, and you don't have to explain all your personal story, and I can do in a very gentle and respectful way that it will be okay for you. And also, if you are interested to learn to become a family constellation practitioner, a certified family constellation practitioner, and you would love to do it online, we are programming the 9th of September in the evening, an introductory webinar to explain how you can learn from your home, from anywhere in the world, and become a very good facilitator, very professional. So we will give you everything you need to know. So this is so 9th of September, and just follow all the events I'm posting on the page Academy of Systemic and Relationship Coaching. That's it.
Thanks, Orianne. That was lovely.
It was really great. Yeah.
I will see you next week.
See you next week, and see you all, and sending beautiful stars, beautiful light to all of you. Take care of you, and des bisous, des bisous. Thank you.